Alright, cool. I am seeing myself here. Alright, hello. Starting in just a sec. My gosh. People are talking in the Twitch chat about how hot it is. Some of the roads in the UK have melted. Ouch. I've seen that before, but not very much. Hello everyone and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I'm Lotro's community manager Cordovan, and I had to do some tech work today, so hopefully you are seeing me, hopefully you are hearing me okay. Hopefully the game music is not too loud or too quiet. Hopefully you can also hear Druid's Fire okay. How you doing, Druid's Fire?
I'm doing okay. Busy.
Cool. If anyone is in chat and is just like, yeah, except so-and-so, this is, not right, let me know. I will do something. Nothing on YouTube yet, huh?
Oh dear. I understand that yesterday was both Pontin Finberry and Gumpsgangs' birthdays.
Really? Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Pontin was doing a thing, or is doing a thing, right? So, I saw something on the forums. I can't remember what it is now.
Pontin is always doing a thing, because
Yeah.
Pontin is an upstanding member of our community.
All right.
The first person.
I'm still not seeing anything. I'm going to quick kill YouTube and relaunch it again, just in case. So hopefully you're actually seeing the green screen a little bit better. I kind of had a slapdash work on XSplit here in the 20 minutes or so before I went live on the air. For those who were watching last week, you'll know that the computer I was running ended up starting to crash towards the end of the stream, and I had to actually cut out early because I could not get it to work. I traced it down to a webcam issue. One of my webcams was bad, and when XSplit was trying to load that device, it was causing the computer to blue screen. So I had to get a new webcam, and I had to start with a completely fresh presentation on XSplit, which means I had to rebuild all the elements and text and logos and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully everything's going here pretty good, and you can hear me okay. And nice, I've got some confirmation from YouTube. All right, so a couple of things I can talk about as we make our way over to Chapter 8, The Secret Road, Volume 2, Book 7, right? Talk to Orvar in Buzengar, located southwest of the Peaceful Path in the very southeastern corner of Theric Bazan along Durin's Way. Theric Bazan along Durin's Way. All right. What do you think, Kyrene? Can you take me there, or are we?
Not directly. We'll have to just take the swift travel up to the thingy.
Yeah, the thingy.
Don't we have a thingy going on next week, Jerry?
We do, but let's get on the way there, and we can talk about the thingy next week. Actually, I have a couple of things to talk about. First off, we did have Bull Roar this week, so if you would like to take a look at that, you can. Bull Roar is now closed. Where are we headed?
Thrak Bazan.
Thrakbaz. There we go. There was some new stuff there, including the debut of the Shades in the Swamp stuff and some of the captain work. In particular, I know the captain class work has been pretty exciting and highly discussed. I'm aware that some additional work is being done. I heard basically people saying like Vassen's going to see what else he can do before X release date. So I do think we're going to see a little bit more captain work going on. We do have polish in that as well for some of that new Shades on the Swamp content. And some other good stuff too. So go ahead and check that out if you'd like to. And like I said, I don't think that's going to be next week. I think we might be a little bit beyond that in terms of release date. But stay tuned and we'll kind of see where we end up on things. It may also be that some but not all of what you saw on Bull Roar this week will be...
We will fight together on the next adventure.
Alright, well I already had talked to him, so it's talk to Orval. Oh, did you hear that, Druid Sawyer? Yeah.
Okay. So you need to talk to Orvar?
Yes. Orvar Bellhammer is in Buzengar, located southwest of the Peaceful Path, in the very southeastern corner of Therak Bazan along Durin's Way.
Okay, I remember now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let me see where this person is.
I just did this.
Oh yeah,
on an alt,
little southwest of here.
Yep,
is
I know
where
where
I'm
we're
headed. Okay.
I just did this on Ithel for my show last week, so I was like, wait a minute, what? got a little confused as to which segment of the quest I'm on. We're gonna have fun today because I know it's coming.
Oh, cool. Also, I wanted to, before I get to the Indianapolis meetup, quick mention that Weatherstock was the weekend prior and seems to have gone well. And
Very well.
you've got a archive of the whole shebang over on our Twitch channel and your YouTube channel.
Yep, because you can't post them on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't allow for kind of multiple permission levels like that in a way that Twitch does, so.
And I had a lot of fun being the title fairy and rewarding members of the community with the Performer of Note title. So Ponton is no longer the only person to have. And it made people cry in a good way. Though I did find out that those titles work on Creepside too.
Yeah, I don't know if I really care. Should I care? Do I care? I don't know.
Well,
Not really.
my rank 4 on Crook Hollow is fighter, musician, somebody.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
All right. Find the entrance to Zerthurk and use it to get behind the walls of Zabadgathal. Zabadgathal?
It's down here in the basement.
Okay. Frogs. Okay. So, Gen Con is next week. I will not be broadcasting next Friday at noon, for I will be in Gen Con. Well, actually, I will probably be getting to Gen Con. But on Friday evening, there is a meetup. Standing Stone Games is hosting a meetup at Punch Bowl, Indianapolis. It's just really kind of located northeast of Meridian Circle, if you know where that is. And it's within walking distance of the convention, and it is free for you to attend. And those under the age of 21 are allowed until 10 p.m., which is the time at which our event ends officially. So from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Punch Bowl, Indianapolis on Friday, August 2nd, we're hosting a Standing Stone Games meetup. Now, it does happen to take place during Gen Con, but no Gen Con badge is required in order to participate. Because it's not in the convention. So if you're just like in the area or close enough to be in the area, or a couple hour drive doesn't sound like a bad deal to hang out with 50 to 80 other Lotro and DDO players and stuff. There you go. Now, we did do RSVPs, and I will tell you that our RSVP is pretty darn close to the limit of our group size. However, some of those RSVPs were like, I want to make it, but I'm unsure. So I didn't. It's kind of hard to tell. I wanted to leave that as open as an option to people, but I also knew that by doing that, I'd have a little bit more of a wishy-washy RSVP list. That's fine though. I think there should still be room for everybody. Some people will show up early and leave late. Some people won't get there until after dinner or whatever. Speaking of dinner, we're gonna feed you for free. With limited... Oh, this is a solo?
Oh dear. I guess so.
It's kind of a light dinner. We're going to have things like we've got some little kind of burger sliders and chicken sliders, chips and guac and salsa. We've got some like a kind of what they call a farmer's plate, sort of a meat and cheese roll-up thing. We have a couple of big veggie plates for like cucumbers and broccoli and dips and things. For us vegetarians, I did order some hummus dip and some quesadillas that are meatless. In addition, there was one other meatless dish that I got. It is a flatbread sandwich. That's what it is. And that's a veggie flatbread sandwich as well. So vegetarians and non-vegetarians both covered. Food's going to be kind of limited, right? I mean, we can't drop thousands on food here, but we do have a plate that should be able to serve easily, I would think, 40 to 60 people there with what we've ordered. So it should be pretty good there. So whether you want to get dinner and then go to the event, or perhaps just go straight to the event, whatever you wish to do there is fine. But great if you'd RSVP, not 100% required, but of course if you don't RSVP and the place is full, or ultimately if 1,000 people RSVP in the next couple of days, we'll have to see what happens. But the place is pretty big, and it's Punch Bowl Indie, and the reason I picked it, other than the fact that our place from previous years' meetups was no longer available, they had gone out of business, this place has some games for folks who attend. Bowling, I think you have to rent shoes on your own, but bowling lanes and that are free. There's like darts and pool and foosball and Bonzini, which I don't think is 100% foosball, but I don't really know what it is. And then also next to the reserved space is a vintage arcade, which is basically a bunch of old classic video games. Oh, I don't know. You might have heard of the Pac-Mans and the Mrs. Pac-Mans and things, you know, whatever. Them Galagas.
I'm gonna laugh when somebody kicks your butt at any of those games.
It's possible. I don't claim to be some kind of vintage arcade master or anything.
Just a
I mean,
nerd.
does anybody think I'm good at video games? No.
No.
But I will say that typically I can get in the 40 to 50,000s on an average Galaga game, and I think my top score is not quite 6 figures. So you can, if you know Galaga, you can compare to that as to whether or not you would be better than me. Miss Pac-Man, I'm lucky to hit 30,000. I set the number 3 high score in Donkey Kong at some arcade bar in Denver recently, so I can do that.
So speaking of events, if you can't make it to Gen Con, but you do want to do something fun in-game, the very next day on the 3rd, the Department of Talbot Security is going to be taking a level 10 Hobbit to Isengard. It may or may not be your predecessor times 2, Mr. Sapiens, depending on his availability. But that's a big thing. That's going to be on the Land of All server. They're going to do a concert at the Prancing Pony Rock, I believe, at noon. There's a post on the forums about it with all the details.
Somewhere I'm going to have to see if I can dig it up for you. I received either a Discord message or a Twitter message or someone questioning about when we'd be doing, if that was going to happen this year and when. Because they needed to do a thing to get a thing, and they wanted to be a part of it. If I can dig that up, I'll send it your way.
Okay, because we never really did a thing as part of the Hobbit runs. We just grabbed a Hobbit and dragged them to Isengard and left them there.
Yeah. Oh, if you see any edits need to be made to this week's in particular Lotro Beacon, where's the best place to send them? Just send it to me right now if you want to. I will be the one doing the correction on it. And I'm sorry, I'm also the one that made the mistake. So if you have a correction for this week's Lotro Beacon, heck, just type it in chat if it's quick enough. Or feel free to reach out to me through the forums or what have you, and I'll get that corrected today. I was filling in for Olive this week, who's out of the office. And she's been filling in for me on some various duties in recent weeks when I've been out of the office. So we've been kind of trading vacations, as it were. When is the new 6-person coming to Bull Roar? Should be pretty soon. I don't have an exact date for you, however. But I know that those discussions are underway, so.
I do have a Twitch emote for that. Courtesy of Sapiens, actually.
Missile Command, pizza, and Pepsi, no Coke. As a matter of fact, I believe they were Pepsi only for whatever reason. I don't know. It was a good time. I'm sorry I can't give the place a shout out. It was someplace by Union Station in Denver. I can't remember the name of it right now. But I had a couple hours to kill after visiting my father while waiting for a train to get to the airport. And it just so happened that a fellow gamesman lives in the area. And so I went just kind of hang out, check out the retro arcade and such. It's a good time. And yeah, set number 3 score on Donkey Kong. Although I was only at like level 9 or something. No King of Kong, am I?
I know a really awesome song called King of Kong.
Yeah, El Larissa, I agree with Elz's suggestion there. It sounds like a very good question on the captain work, but is probably not best passed through telephone over Twitch chat. Type that in the Bull Roar feedback
Actually,
if
I'm
you
the one
would.
who said that.
Oh, you're the one who said that? Anyway,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with the question. It's great. It's just beyond really the scope.
Yeah, that gotta go
Of
straight to
answering here.
Rastin so he can
Yeah.
address it.
Exactly right. Oh, Missy89, regardless of what that billing date may show in myaccount.standingstonegames.com, whether it says 2072 or 2032, a lifetime sub is exactly that. We're not... If it becomes an issue, that end date will be extended. I
Long
have
live
no idea
Mojo.
why specifically it may have changed its date, but yeah. So,
Yeah, mine's always said 2032, so I've never seen it say 2070, but I'm not saying it. Maybe it's
Yeah.
a Codemasters thing?
it could be, or it could just be some slight change in account UI or something like that. Regardless,
Possibly.
it's hopefully irrelevant. I mean, that's the intention,
Lifetime
is it's
views,
irrelevant.
lifetime.
Yeah.
That might be it. It might be a Codemasters thing, because my
Yep.
lifetime has always said 2032, so maybe somebody just to change the number to make it in alignment with the Native North American accounts, possibly?
And upon the last day, when the Earth's sun finally
When
gives its
Turin
quiet,
Turambar comes back for the
enters
last
into a
battle.
quiet sleep, the final crustacean in the darkness by the ocean will whisper, "What about my lifetime sub?"
I have to say, I am not a fan of the epic quest in Siege of Markwood.
All right.
Because it's like watching a train wreck. You know bad things are going to happen, and there's nothing you can do to
Yeah.
stop it.
Sorry, let me stop looking at chat. I was trying to read through that captain question to see if I had something I might be able to contribute to it, but I think the answer is no. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Shh. All right. Gosh darn it.
Also doesn't like this particular part of the quest line because the medium armor items here are clearly originally set for Bjornings because they give might and not agility. I'm like, what?
That's what I get. That's what I get for trying to answer a captain question. No, yeah, I read it. It sounds more like qualitative feedback than maybe a direct bug question there. That you feel a particular ability is such that it's a cornerstone, and you don't like the change that is coming to further diversify the class or what have you. That's not really a question I can answer. I'm sorry. Because it's not really a question. It's more of a why did the designer choose to go this route? And that's something really obviously the designer would need to answer. What? Ah, now I'm all turned around. Gosh darn it. All I wanted to do was get to the thing. Over here? Nope. Nope. Go back up the stairs.
Where the heck did you go?
Well, I ended up in sort of the res circle.
Oh, you actually died. Oops.
Yeah. There we go. All right, so now I'm back to Bosi at the Chamber of the Crossroads. And I need to go back to the woods in order to get to that gate.
Take the goat to Burzon.
Burrs of return.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tharak Bazan.
I can't. Dolphin View, Duran's Threshold, or 21st.
Well, you can go to 21st in Tharak Bazan.
I just go there. You really think it's easier to go to 21st and then Barak Hazan?
Yep, because then I can lead you from Tharak Bazan.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll get lost coming up from the 21st. Or from the, Chamber of the Crossroads.
Wow, Sam. Interesting. On the temperature.
So one of the side cool things about you guys doing Gen Con is both myself and other people of Gaming Press will be doing interviews for both games. So there'll be some news and tidbits coming out. So that should hopefully be some fun. And yes, chat, I will be grilling Severlin about legendary items. Gotcha.
Kid Amnesiac 86 asks, any updates coming to the Mac client? We'll be continuing to support and update the Wine client for Mac. The old, outdated Mac client is no longer going to be is no longer supported. So if that's your friend's issue, they need to switch over to the new client, and all they need to do that is go to lotro.com/download and get the current client for Mac. But in terms of further updates coming, yes, as a matter of fact. Further polish will be coming in the future for that. Tell us more details about the new Tier 4 and 5 difficulty system. Why, yes, that's something that also kind of debuted. That is one of the things that I am not sure is when exactly is going to get released. But it could be coming pretty soon. Otherwise, it's really a scaled difficulty system. Above a certain level, you can face more difficult enemies in addition to kind of special enemies. There's some level of new mechanics available to developers to utilize in these kind of higher tiers. And they offer some increased rewards. You can kind of see a quick look at what is intended with that over on the Bulwer release notes. I can call it up if I need to and just kind of read it to you, but you can just take a look at that yourself. But yeah, it's an attempt to offer an option to folks who might be interested in it and see if folks dig it. So. Here we are. Yeah, I think a question of, quote, what are we doing with legendary items might well be a good question to ask Civ if you are attending the Gen Con meetup. We're very interested in basically the whole point of these things. I had a question from some other person who was thinking of attending. It's like, well, can I set aside a formal time to sit down and present a list of questions to Civ and stuff? And it's like, well, no, but the whole point of this 7 to 10 p.m. meetup is to hang out with us and ask us questions and talk Lotro and the other game too for those folks who are attending that way. For those who wonder the split on the current RSVP, it's about 65-35 on DDO Lotro. So due to the nature of Gen Con, it does tend to skew a little bit more DDO than Lotro, but Lotro will be well represented. So.
Yicky in the house.
Steph will be there. I'll be there in terms of who you'll be able to talk to. In addition, like I say, a whole bunch of kind of Lotro players and stuff could be hanging out. I know Drax going to be there from Lotro Players News.
Yay, Drac!
Yeah.
I like him. Canjal, I got you covered. I got you.
So, will there be an instance cluster that won't be affected by the new tier increase? None of them are affected if you don't want them to be. It's simply an option. That's its design. So for the things that offer these higher difficulty tiers, you don't need to choose them. It's an option for those who want it. And the intention is that scaling otherwise, like, tier 1, tier 2, that kind of thing, basically stay where it is. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. So I don't do well in the heat. I don't know how many people know that I am not a heatsman.
You're from Minnesota.
Yeah,
What's
exactly
the
right.
surprise here?
Yeah. But I sure can't handle mosquitoes well, don't you know?
Oh my god, you just... Yes, I told you that.
But, yeah. That sounds awful in the UK. It's been real hot here, too. I actually went, was it camping last weekend? Yeah, camping last weekend. It was pretty hot a couple of those days. We had like kind of heat warnings and stuff. But since I was in the woods, near a pond where I was in the water a bunch, it was fine.
Yeah, the UK does not get into the 30-degree Celsius range often. So yeah, I feel for our European friends who aren't used to it.
Captain notes available about the changes yet. Yes, you can take a look at that over on the Bullroar forums of Lotro.com. You'll see that information front and center. And like I say, I think the intention is to do a little bit more work yet as time permits to try to get a little bit more polish and feedback stuff in. So we'll see where we end up on that, but that's the intention. Any plans for the Allegiance system in future updates? By... I don't know, I'll have to ask. I don't know. Sorry. Can I pay monthly for the game or no? Yes, you can if you want to. We do offer a VIP subscription. Unlocks most of the content for you and all sorts of other stuff too. And you can find out about that at Lotro.com. What about raids for solo players to get the higher gear, etc., without having to group if we don't prefer to group up? So are you basically saying, what about my ability to solo tier 4 and 5, etc.? I don't know that as a general design policy, they're focusing on solo raiding when they're designing difficulty of raids, which are, you know, kind of meant to be group content. That's not to say I think anyone really particularly cares if people are good at soloing and want to do it, right? I mean, awesome, right? But I think that's a little different than... You know, what about it, I guess, would be like, hopefully as, you know, your experience and skill increases, things that you can solo on higher difficulties now, you'll be able to solo on higher difficulties in the future. But is that a core kind of, well, we better make sure everyone is able to solo the raids? I don't think that's usually much of a consideration.
Speaking as a player, you shouldn't get the higher raid gear if you're not doing the raid correctly. Yeah, Pontent and I are in agreement on that one. Basically, if you're soloing, you shouldn't be able to get the higher end raid gear, the same raid gear that somebody like, you know, the big raiding kins are spending their huge time and effort, you know, doing the raid and, you know, doing the group content, and coordinating it to make sure they're doing the mechanics correctly. They should not be getting the same gear that a solo player is getting.
I guess it all depends on whether or not you're able to complete it, right? I mean, as long as you can complete the raid on the difficulty, I don't really see why you shouldn't be able to get the rewards. Now, if you're cheating to complete the raid, well, that's a different question, you know. That wouldn't matter whether you were cheating in a group or cheating solo. You probably shouldn't get the stuff. But if you got the skill to solo a raid, then I don't really see why you shouldn't be able to get it.
Philosophically, you shouldn't be able to do a 12-man as a solo player on level unless either you're cheating or there's something wrong with the mechanics that's allowing you to do it without cheating.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't be willing to go quite that binary on it. But then again, you know, people like to, you know, criticize me for sometimes discussing the other game, but it's not uncommon for people to solo in the other game either. And
Itemization.
but it's really just a matter. It is a very different game, so it's like apples to oranges. But I think the general philosophy is, you know, hey, if you can, awesome. That doesn't mean we're going to design it so that we're guaranteed to be able to.
I don't mind going back and doing like old raids or whatever to farm for cosmetics. I'm so used to raiding in like World of Warcraft where if I'm raiding on level content, I need a raid with me. But if I want to go and farm cosmetics, transmogs, and an older raid where the stats don't matter, then I just go in by myself, but that's no big deal. But on level, I think it should be set so that you have to raid to get the raid gear. That just philosophically, to me, seems to be the way to go.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. You know, I appreciate that feedback, but I think in that scenario, you would hopefully be able to get the gear with a high enough skill threshold, in the same way that with a high enough skill threshold today, you can do so. And if you're cheesing your way through it, well, hopefully not, but you'll probably find a way to cheese your way through this one too. I think this is where I died, so let me start paying attention here a little bit.
Yeah, don't die again. I don't want to lead you back there.
Yeah.
Ponton, Court couldn't solo raid even if he was on an admin character. Come on.
So, I don't know. What else can I talk about here? I did get to update the event schedule through the end of 2019. I still think there might be a weekend or two that we'll see a little bit of kind of adjustment and numbers tweaking. I think there might be one weekend gap in there somewhere. But for the most part, it's set through the end of the year and currently does not have a Summer Festival Encore. That's not to say that can't happen, but it's not currently scheduled.
Oh, that's a new one. The 10% Embers Modes loot box bonus weekend.
Yeah, they're trying something different. You know, see how people like it. So let me ask a question that was asked to me when I brought up the Summerfest Encore idea. Quote, why are people interested? It was out for a long time. What would you respond to that? Why today do you want an encore of the Summer Festival? What is it you didn't get that you want? Is it that you're looking for another essence? Is that one of the big drivers of it? Or is there something else going on?
Folks are looking for the gold pocket item from Throng mostly.
Yep. Because we did have a fairly extensive summer festival this year. So I think, you know, in the same way that the forums tend to be like, you should do them more often, you should do them less often, you should have them constantly running, whatever, you know. Some of those discussions happen internally as well. And I think that there's kind of a question of, well, should we have a summer festival encore, and why? How badly do they want it, and why do they want it? And can we really fit it in? But if there is enough interest in it, we could certainly do it. Hard to say, right?
So the concern is that the gold pocket items that drop from Throng are the best in the slot. So, of course, our top end raiders are very, very interested in those.
That's cool. I mean, that's a fine reason. There's a thing.
I think this is
that
the
I
first
really
time
like.
in the entire history of the game that the raiders have actually wanted a festival to come back more than the non-raiders.
That's a little bit of a confrontational statement, but probably not entirely inaccurate.
Well, to be fair, this
Yeah.
is only the second year you had the
Yeah.
option for a pocket item to drop, you know, in a festival that was something that wasn't cosmetics.
But yeah, it's something we can look at. Anyway, take a look at the schedule. You know, we're, as always, you know, these things are kind of fluid. We're more than willing to respond to your wants and needs on this stuff, so. Do something about the bad balance in Etten-Moors. Might be a little while before we get back to Etten-Moors balance, I'm sorry to say, but hopefully some of the upcoming classwork that's being done in that will improve things a little bit, and hopefully, you never know, someone maybe will be able to find some time to address those balance concerns.
Look at that, chat. He's using hope tokens. Uger, I hope Yuki bites you with his spider for that comment.
That is a very good question, Mr. Alexman13P, why we don't just do one massive featured instance list rather than kind of seasonal hand-picked things. I guess maybe it's, to some extent, it's just that's the way it's always been done. It's interesting. I don't know. I could bring it up as a suggestion. I like Mazog.
Mazog, this is the end of your days.
You're gonna be real sick of Mazog soon enough.
Whatever, I like the character model. Just to be clear, Amanda, you did not mention cheating in regard to soloing the raid, nor did I bring up the idea that you would be cheating in order to complete the raid. I believe that came from Druid's Fire. I disagree with it, and I think I made that clear. But if I did not, then Amanda, yes, I am not accusing you of cheating, nor do I even think you probably are. I think it is probably skill-based.
I'm speaking in the game designer philosophical mode, in my personal belief that on-level content that is set for 12 or more people should not be able to be soloed. I.e., if I were designing it, it wouldn't be able to be. Give me just a second to get back out there, and I will get you ported to where we need to go next.
Cool. So we're getting, we got another 10 minutes or so here.
Mm-hmm. Now we can get to where we need to go to start next week. I'm sorry, in 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, next week I won't be here. I know I've been actually out more often than not lately, but hey, it's been a busy summer, so.
I hate to tell you, Jerry, but you are actually allowed to go visit your family.
Yep. But yeah, it's a pretty good time. In recent weeks, I went camping, went to visit the folks. Had a good 4th. I will be at Gen Con proper on, I think, that Friday afternoon for a little bit, and then mostly Saturday. I'm actually there for work and doing worky work things, so that's why I'm able to do this. I am doing a little bit of just kind of hanging out, but not too much of it, actually. Guess I got a busy time. Where the heck is Haldir? He's way back there. Oh, outside Lorien? Okay.
Haldir is on the border of Lorien.
Yeah. Now you say you're coming to me?
I'm trying to, yes.
Okay. I will just stare at the frogs then. Hey, little
Let's check
froggies.
the tracks.
Don't hop away from me. Okay, while I'm waiting here, let me quick check the calendar, make sure, see what else I need to do. So I'm worried now that there's a problem in the beacon because
Yeah, go take a
I
look
was
at that.
busy. Someone let me know what I did wrong. Oh, let me just gotta do a little biz. We do have the summer sales going this week. Let me call that up. Those are some kind of unusually large discounts we got going on. So let me see what we got there. Yeah, 35% inventory, 50% journeyman riding, and 75% off the Bjorning class and character slot. So you might want to do that. Also, a free simple rally horn with a coupon code Rally Together. This weekend is an XP boost times 25%, so that's not terrible either. Next weekend will be Hobnanigans, and this is the final week of our summer sales event. So hopefully you've been getting something out of that and finding some good discounts there. As Druid's Fire mentioned, last week was a premium wallet at 75%. So
Yeah, that premium wallet is the shiznit.
It's not a bad deal, that's for sure. Of course, I am biased, but you know. Oh my gosh.
You want to go to the first hall?
Otherwise, oh, let's see.
Actually, we dragged a DDO player in to play Lotra because Bjornings were on sale and they wanted to play a bear.
Quick events as well. D and Co du Milieu is asking you to vote among their Housing Week in Middle Earth kind of finalists. They've got like the final 15 going on. So if you dig sort of cool cosmetics and housing decorations and things like that and want to vote in the competition, do that. I see a pool party is happening this weekend in Belaguer, and that should be a fun time as well. And then, yeah, just 42 or 24.2, and then the sales. I think those are the main things to really talk about right now. So I guess I pretty well covered the news.
The fine folks in the band Polno Looney released a video recently. They did a machinima about Theoden, and it was really good.
Yeah, that either is in the Chronic or in the Beacon or was in last week's Beacon. I can't remember which one I did now. I think it's in this week's Beacon. Top of the fan site news. Yeah.
Yep. Because it wasn't released last week.
This is one of my favorite areas in Middle Earth, I think. In terms of the look. I like the
Oh
look
yeah,
of it.
yeah. It's the shift from Dwarven to Elven. And of course, Professor Corey had a lot to say. And I do have to give mad props to the world building team for managing to make the Mirror fulfill the lore that you could see the stars even during the daytime in reflection.
Oh yeah, the Boots and Pants fashion show tomorrow in Arkenstone, which is a great name for a fashion show on Arkenstone. I love it. I was like, Boots and... Oh, yeah! That's great.
I'm
really
guessing
good.
it's a Dwarven thing.
Yeah. No, stupid Rudy. Will Lotro be connected anyway to the new Lord of the Rings MMO, the Amazon thingy? No, they are a separate thingy. There's a difference in the English beacon to the German beacon, so it stands in the German. The U24.2 beta would have been last week, and the English stands this week. Okay. That's probably a localization issue. They got the tense confused because maybe my initial copy to them was not clear or something. There's only so much I can do about the German and French. I try to make sure I give representation as much as I can to German and French events and blogs and stuff. But I have to ultimately put it together in English and send it out for localization and just sort of say, yeah, that's how it reads in German, because I can't read anything else except English. So I kind of have to trust them on it. So if like there are tense issues or whatever, it's probably just because I wrote it weirdly. I wrote it like a dumb American, and they were like, they had to make a judgment call and chose incorrectly. Why, hello, Hall dear.
It is good to see you again. I will take you to see Lord Celeborn.
How long is this, do you know?
It's just a quick talky bit.
Let's travel to it then, and do that at the end of the stream.
I will take you to see Lord Celeborn, if you are ready.
The defeat of Marzok has sent ripples of hope throughout the dwarves of the Iron Garrison. Though it be short-lived.
No, Olubeni, I've got nothing to announce regarding legendary weapons. I think when the time comes for that, it'll be a much kind of bigger announcement than me dropping something on the live stream. Because we know you care. Mike giving a shout out to PvP Arkenstone Creeps. All right. Oh no. So, as we get ready to wrap up the show here, what do we got going on this afternoon? Do you know?
Haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I was considering playing through this on Ithel because of the XP boost going on. So it sounds like a good plan to me because I still haven't hit level cap on the legendaries.
Into the Golden Wood.
The Iron Garrison struggled against new dangers unearthed in the depths of Moria, and the errant mark of a long-dead scribe brought to light a secret way into the throne room of Durin.
There we go.
Marzog was defeated, but not before revealing that his captives had been sent with Gorothul to Dol Guldur, the Dark Fortress in
Hang on, no one could hear you. Yeah. It was buffering because I was quick going into Windows settings to drop the volume. I too would love to see us someday address that. It's an engineering ask.
When the time comes for us to
Because you have to set it up so it
I will call.
plays a separate audio channel.
Yeah.
Preparations required by the Golden Host will take some time.
All right. Well, I do think that's going to wrap it up then. We've got Corey Olsen coming on in just a couple minutes, and then you'll be on later today. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. If you're around at Gen Con, I hope to see you there. I'll be the guy looking like the person who plays tabletop board games. And I will see you Friday, perhaps August 2nd, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Punch Bowl Indy for an SSG meetup. Cash Bar, you're responsible for all your own drinks, but we are providing a little bit of food and a venue that is free to get into and available to those under the age of 21 from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. So hope to see you there. If not, I will see you in 2 weeks back in game, and we should have some cool news to talk about then. So until then, bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.